So hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video we'll talk on this topic. So what I have in front of me is a cartridge sheet which I recommend for beginner artists. And so today we'll compare all the other sheets that I have ever used. So I have got these sheets, and so now I guess that I'll have to write on them. So now I have also written on them. So as you can see, all these sheets that I have here, and from cheap to expensive, so I have all the kind of sheets that you can see here. So now let's stock them up. So okay, now I have arranged them, and I'll use a 2B grade pencil and a 10B grade pencil to shade on them to show you that how they work on each sheet, as each sheet absorbs different amount of graphite. So let's see that how they work. So first let's start with the copier paper, and I'll be fastening the video a bit so that your time could be saved. So guys, as you can see, I have shaded on these all, so I'll just show you them one by one, starting from the copier sheet. So as you can see, the copier sheet doesn't absorb much graphite, nor does it give very dark values. So as you can see, the grains, it doesn't have many grains, it is of low texture and also of very thinness, it's very thin. So next will be smooth chart paper. It is actually the smooth side of the chart paper, and it's not good at all. As you can see, it's just smooth to be said. It isn't smooth because the back is rough, so it is of no use, I guess. And next comes the rough chart paper. So the rough chart paper has a bit too much texture. I would call this over textured. As you can see, it absorbs a lot of graphite. 10B works like charcoal, so it has a lot of texture, but it's thin, something like 80 GSM. And then comes the cartridge sheet. Now cartridge sheet has good amount of grains, and it absorbs the graphite to a certain extent, even though not very good, but good for beginners. Next comes the ivory sheet, and ivory sheet, as you can see, it has almost no grains. It is really smooth, and I use it for colored pencils. The thing is that ivory doesn't give you dark effects, it's really light. Even 10B works like 4B or something like 6B. So smooth paper doesn't absorb much graphite, which is not a good thing. Next comes the Brewster 200 GSMs, and it's really good sheets. I use these sheets in all of my drawings, as you can see here, and it can be used for graphite, charcoal, all. And as you can see, it actually absorbs a lot of graphite, and so the 10B is really dark. Also, it is not as grainy as the rough chart paper. So now if I would choose my favorite sheets, then those would be cartridge and Brewster 200 GSM. So cartridge for beginners, and Brewster when you get a bit more patient and a bit better at art, you may buy these. So guys, now I'll tell you that how to use these sheets. So cartridge and these Brewster, both can be used for graphite as well as charcoal. So cartridge works really well for beginners, while Brewster, it is among the best, I would just tell the best, because even charcoal works can be done smoothly on this paper. Well, if we talk of colored pencils, then I also draw colored pencil drawing, as you can see here. So for color pencils, I won't recommend any of these two sheets, as you can see that they both have a lot of texture, and it would take me a lot of time to blend these. So as you can see, Brewster has a bit more texture, but it's a good thing for graphite and charcoal. So as you can see, my colored pencil drawings, I mainly make them on ivory paper. I do not use cartridge or Brewster for colored pencils. Ivory is among my favorite because it also has texture, but it is a bit less. So as you can see, it holds the colors really well. while of the other two I will never ever use this color pencil on these. So Brewster has a lot of texture, cartridge a bit less, and Ivory even much more less. So now let's talk about the chart papers. So even though I have used both of them for color pencils, but I simply don't like them. The smooth chart paper it's just trash, and the rough chart paper it has a bit too much texture. I mean, the texture is unbearable. So I wouldn't recommend any of these both. So guys, now let's talk about the copier paper. So copier paper is actually good for beginners, or I will say amateurs who have just started drawing with no experience at all. So these cannot be used for color pencils as they are just 70 GSM. So it will just tear if we use it for color pencils. I first bought cartridge paper, and then I bought Ivory, and then I used this Brewster paper which I still use now, but I started with the copier paper only, and everyone has started with the same paper. So I have shown you all of my sheets, and now it's time to show you all of my drawings.